What? Are you okay? I rushed over to the woman collapsed in front of the store, forgetting myself in the process. With my parents' shop on the verge of closing, I shouldn't have had the time or energy to help anyone. But I just couldn't turn a blind eye. Hang in there. The woman was dressed in tattered clothes and had passed out, like someone who was homeless. Just as I was about to call an ambulance, she stopped me. Wait. There's no need for an ambulance. In a weak voice, she refused to be taken to the hospital. This mysterious woman, clearly burdened by some untold story, reappeared in front of me a month later. She looked like a completely different person, coming back to repay the favor. And her presence would truly lift me from the depths of despair. Something still feels off. I muttered to myself with a frown while chewing on a freshly made hamburger patty. My name is Aaron, 35 years old. I'm the owner of Simpson's Bento, a shop located just past the office district and around a corner. I think I'm getting closer, but maybe I should add a bit more salt next time. I've been mumbling to myself for a while now, trying to improve one of the menu items, our hamburger bento. For days, I've been experimenting with different meats and seasonings, testing one variation after another, muttering, "No, that's not it. And this still isn't right." I'm so sick of hamburgers at this point. And all of this? It's because of. It's your fault, Dad. This bento shop used to be run by my parents. My father was the quiet, old-fashioned type, responsible for cooking. My mother was bright and cheerful, handling customer service. Though they were complete opposites, their bento, filled with simple homemade dishes and plain white rice, became popular. The food wasn't fancy, nor did it leave customers speechless with its flavor. But the shop thrived because, in the end, it tasted good. Why don't you help out at the store? One New Year's Day, my father suddenly asked me that. At the time, I had no intention of taking over the family business. I worked at a company nearby. I'm too busy with work right now, so I can't. I had said at the time, turning him down. Looking back, I wonder if that was some kind of warning sign. Not long after, my parents passed away in an accident. Dad, if you wanted me to take over, you could have at least left some notes. I thought about closing the shop entirely at one point. But in the end, I quit my corporate job and took over the family business. Our family lived on the second floor of the bento shop, and when I came home from school as a kid, my mom would always give me leftover side dishes, saying, "Have this as a snack." My father, who usually looked grumpy, seemed to enjoy himself when he was in the kitchen. I loved watching him work. That's when I realized how important this place was to me, too. But soon after, I ran into a problem. The issue was, my father had left no recipes behind. I feel like the taste of the bento has changed. I liked it better the way it was before. Comments like that reached my ears from the kitchen, and they made me flinch. I'd practiced cooking countless times, and though I had little experience beyond making meals for myself, I thought I'd managed to produce a decent bento. But replicating the exact taste? Without a recipe, that was impossible. I've been running the shop for about a year now, and though I've tried everything I can think of, the flavor is still a little different from what my father used to make. And that subtle difference is something our loyal customers can sense. As more and more regular customers stopped coming, sales plummeted. Despite all my efforts, the business was failing fast. That day, we didn't even sell half the bento boxes I had planned for. I was left with a lot of unsold ingredients as the clock hit 6 p.m., signaling closing time. Maybe I'll give it a bit more effort, and if it still doesn't work, I'll just give up. I was thinking about this as I stepped outside to close the shutters when. What? I froze, startled, letting out a loud gasp. The reason? There was someone collapsed right in front of the store. Are you okay? Sprawled out on the ground with arms and legs stretched out was a figure, most likely a woman based on her long hair. Her hair was tangled and messy, like it hadn't been washed in days. She was wearing a thin coat and sneakers, both filthy and tattered, as if she hadn't changed or cleaned her clothes in quite some time. And, to be honest, as I got closer, there was a faint but unpleasant odor. Is she homeless? It was rare to see someone homeless around here, but I did remember a time when the trash bins in the back had been rummaged through. We throw out a lot of waste daily, so maybe someone had taken an interest. Back then, the cleanup had been such a hassle that, to be honest, I thought, what a nuisance. Are you okay? I'm calling an ambulance right now, hang in there. Ignoring someone collapsed in front of me was a completely different matter. I shook the woman's shoulder gently, calling out to her several times from up close. Just as I pulled out my phone to call an ambulance. Wait. Wait, there's no need for an ambulance. Her weak voice stopped me. The woman tried to push herself up, her arms and legs straining with effort. But halfway through, she collapsed back onto the ground, completely exhausted. At the same time, a loud rumble came from her stomach. Are you hungry? Yes. After a brief, hesitant pause, the woman responded. I helped her sit up and then made a suggestion. Why don't you come inside and rest for a bit? Oh, but I'm dressed like this. I don't want to dirty your shop. It's fine, I was going to clean anyway. Besides, looking at her clothes, and the fact that she didn't want an ambulance, I figured she probably couldn't afford medical bills. She also seemed too young to be homeless. Everyone has their reasons, but this woman definitely seemed like she had a complicated story. And then, if you see someone in need, help them. You never know, it might bring something good your way later. It was almost like I could hear my mom's old saying. I'm Aaron, the owner of this place. I'm sorry, I can't. That's okay. Please, come inside, don't worry. Thank you so much. As I led her, hesitantly following behind me into the shop, I thought to myself, helping out a mysterious woman who can't even share her name? Feels like something out of a movie. That's what I was thinking as I led the woman inside. In front of the counter, there's a bench that's been there since my parents' time. It was placed there for customers to sit and wait when orders pile up. Lately, the bench had rarely seen any use, but I sat the woman down on it. Do you have any allergies or foods you don't like? No, not particularly. Got it. Just wait a moment. I headed into the kitchen, and about 3 minutes later, I returned with a bento. What I prepared was a bento with grilled sausages and a rolled omelette as the main dishes. It's our quickest to serve and, surprisingly, one of our most popular items, the nostalgic bento. For now, please have this. If it's not enough, you can order anything else from the menu. But, hesitating, the woman didn't immediately take the bento. However, her stomach had been growling nonstop. Her eyes were glued to the bento, making it all too obvious. Let's think about everything else after you eat. It's hard to do anything on an empty stomach. Yes. Then, thank you for the food. With that, she quickly bowed her head, snatched the bento from me, and began devouring it hungrily. Maybe you should slow down a bit. You might choke. Delicious. Sorry? It's so delicious." As she kept repeating how delicious it was, she finished the bento in no time. Then she went on to polish off a seaweed bento, fried chicken bento, and stir-fried vegetable bento, one after another. By the time night had fallen, she finally put her hands together and said, "Thank you for the meal. You ate quite a lot. Are you sure your stomach is okay?" I was taken aback by the stack of emptied bento boxes in front of her. Suddenly, the woman exclaimed, "Oh," and started rummaging through her dirty skirt pockets. I really hate to say this after eating so much, but yes? Well, right now. I only have this." She held out her hand apologetically, showing me a single dime. "I promise I'll pay you back for everything later." I had no intention of freeloading, but it was just so delicious that I couldn't stop. "I'm really sorry. Was it really that good?" "Ha? Yes, it was amazing." "I see." I gently placed the dime back in her hand and said, "Don't worry about the payment." It was the first time since I had taken over the shop that someone had said those words to me. Not the taste has changed or it was better before, but simply, it was delicious. That simple word made me so happy. I didn't even care about the payment anymore. After all, I was the one who offered it. "It's fine, really. Thank you so much, Aaron. And, while I'm at it, can I ask for one more favor?" "What is it?" Can I have a hamburger bento as well?" Fidgeting, the woman pointed to the menu on the wall, her voice barely audible. "It's really delicious, especially the hamburger." "Thank you." You sure can eat, though. Even after eating all those bentos, she continued to dig into the hamburger bento with a smile, as if it were her first meal. Despite her dirty and ragged appearance from head to toe, the more I observed her, the more something seemed strangely out of place. That beautiful face, hidden beneath her disheveled hair, was the reason for my strange feeling. She had long eyelashes, big eyes, and a sharp, straight nose. If she cleaned up, I was sure her skin would be fair and smooth too. How could such a young, beautiful woman end up homeless? As I found myself staring at her face, that's when it happened. Ah! The woman suddenly stopped eating mid-bite. A single tear slipped quietly down her cheek. "Wait, are you okay?" I asked, startled. "No. I'm sorry. I just remembered something from the past," she said, without wiping away her tears, and then quickly finished the rest of the bento. Then, she bowed deeply towards me, saying, "Thank you for the meal. It was truly delicious. I won't be able to come back for a while, but I will never forget you, Aaron." "Thank you so much." You're welcome. Goodbye." With a final smile, the woman left the store. She left behind a strangely meaningful parting comment, "I'll definitely be back." About a month passed after that incident. One morning, while I was casually watching TV at home, a news segment came on about a new stage production that had recently started and was a huge success. Wow! Lauren, huh? What caught my attention was a woman waving at the camera. She was the actress playing the homeless heroine in the production. Her skin was so pale and flawless that the word translucent seemed perfect to describe it. With her large, captivating eyes, she was a beauty that even I, someone who wasn't interested in celebrities, found striking. She's only 24? That's impressive for someone so young. Apparently, she had been a child star on TV. Now, she was focusing on stage work and had finally landed her long-awaited lead role in this production. The announcer went on to explain how she was not only admired for her beauty but also gaining attention for her exceptional acting skills, making her someone to watch in the future. I listened, impressed by the praise. And now, here's a sneak peek of the hit stage production. As those words were spoken, footage from the stage production appeared on the TV. When I saw it, my jaw dropped and I couldn't close my mouth. What? This can't be. The woman on the screen, performing on stage, was the same homeless woman I had helped a month ago. For the rest of the day, I couldn't concentrate on work, completely dazed by the revelation. What on earth is going on? There was no mistaking it. The woman running around the stage, shouting her lines with such intensity, was the same person who had collapsed in front of my store? Her tattered clothes, even the dirt on her face, were exactly as I'd seen them that day. And of course, her beauty beneath it all. Which meant, that woman, she's Lauren? It was probably a blessing that hardly any customers came in that day. I was completely out of it, staring off into space or suddenly shouting out, acting like a suspicious person. Well, no one's coming in today anyway. It was a bit early, but I decided I might as well close the shop. Just as I was about to step outside to lower the shutters, it happened. Excuse me, are you still open? The door suddenly opened, and a woman peeked into the shop. Oh, yes, we're still open. But as I answered, the impression I got from the woman was suspicious. She wore a black cap pulled down low enough to hide her eyes, along with a black tracksuit zipped up to her neck. On top of that, her entire face was covered with a black mask, making her completely dressed in black. Anyone would think she looked suspicious. In fact, to be blunt, she looked like a suspect. She definitely didn't look like someone about to eat a bento. Can I take your order? Yes. Could I get about 50 bentos, please? 50. An unexpected request from an already suspicious person. I couldn't help but shout in shock, and the woman in front of me started waving her hands frantically. No, no. Even I couldn't eat 50 bentos. Wait, even I? But I could probably handle 20. No, actually, if it's your bento, Aaron, maybe even 30. Have we met before? Not remembering her at all, I asked cautiously. The woman paused, then slowly took off her mask, revealing a smile on her perfectly shaped lips. Next, she removed her cap. Wah! I was so shocked that I stumbled backward, hitting my back hard against the counter. Because the woman smiling in front of me was the beautiful actress I had seen on TV this morning. It was Lauren. It's been a while, Aaron. I wanted to thank you again for that time. It's been a while? Wait, you're really? Just like I promised, I've come back. This time with my wallet. As she said that, she flashed a slightly embarrassed smile. Despite the many emotions running through me, I found myself captivated by her smile. Once I finally calmed down a bit, Lauren revealed that homeless appearance was for the sake of a role. At first, she was just walking around the city in character, but gradually, she felt that wasn't enough. Things escalated, and she even started skipping meals. With intense rehearsals added on top, it eventually led to her collapse in front of my shop. I've always had a big appetite, so it was really hard. Maybe my body unconsciously knew there was some delicious bento here. And that's why I collapsed in front of your shop. I see. Is something wrong? When she tilted her head in curiosity, I confessed. As much as I appreciated her telling me how delicious the food was, it made me think about how much better my father's bento would have been. But your bento was really delicious, she said. That's probably just because you were starving. My bentos aren't that good, the fact they're not selling proves it. Though I had confidence in my customer service, being a former salesman, I still couldn't compare to my mother. I had let the shop, which held so many memories of my parents, fall into decline. Maybe I wasn't cut out to take over after all. As I recalled the harsh reality, I sighed even in front of Lauren. And then, it happened. The hamburger bento. Ha! Lauren suddenly shouted, catching me off guard. She blushed and smiled sheepishly. Sorry, just remembering that taste made me blurt it out. Could I have a hamburger bento, please? Oh, sure, just give me a moment. I couldn't help but think, does that really fit with the flow of our conversation? But I've heard that talented people tend to operate outside the norms of common sense. I went into the kitchen and started preparing the hamburger bento she ordered. About 10 minutes later. Here you go, sorry for the wait. Wow! Lauren's eyes lit up as she looked at the bento I brought her. She immediately sat down on the bench and said, "Thank you for the food," as she eagerly took a bite of the freshly made hamburger. You know, I'm actually not that hungry today. Oh, really? Yes, but it's still incredibly delicious. As she said that, Lauren smiled warmly at me. I'd like to order 50 bentos. I want to bring them as a gift for everyone working with me on the play. After quickly finishing the bento, Lauren looked at me and repeated her request. Are you sure? 50 bentos. I've never done that many before, but I don't think it's impossible. Are you sure you want them from my shop? I absolutely want them from you. All of your bentos are delicious, and they have such a comforting flavor. I want to share them with my fellow cast members so we can power through the rest of the production. Her words were so genuine. A comforting flavor. The taste might have changed since your father's time, but I think that's natural. Just like how the same role and lines feel different when played by different actors. It's not about who's better, it's about each person's unique touch. Unique touch. That's why I love your bentos, Aaron. They're delicious and have that gentle, comforting flavor. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. So please, have confidence in yourself. Her words made me realize how wrong I'd been. No matter how much I chased after my father's cooking, I could never perfectly recreate it. What was more important than that was offering bentos I could confidently call delicious to my customers. Your order is accepted. Really? Yes. I'll make some bentos that will lift everyone's spirits. Seeing Lauren's eyes light up, I smiled and gave her a big nod in return. A few days later, I delivered all 50 bentos, made with everything I had, to the theater where Lauren was performing. The response was beyond anything I could have imagined, and several people from the production even came to the shop to buy more, saying, "It was so delicious." And then, "Excuse me, I'd like to discuss something." One day, I received such a phone call at the shop. The woman on the line was an employee from a modeling agency. She had heard about the bentos through a connection with the theater group and became interested. Could you create a bento with traditional Japanese side dishes, as low calorie as possible, but still delicious and satisfying in small portions? That sounds like quite the challenge. She explained that many of the models struggled with maintaining their figures. Although they'd heard great things about my bentos and wanted to try them, they were worried about the calories. She felt bad for them and wanted to find a way to let them enjoy the food. I see. And how many would you need? We'll need 100 in total, please. 100. It was the largest order I'd ever received. After much trial and error, I finally created a new bento that was low-calorie, tasty, and satisfying. The delivery went smoothly, and the bentos were a hit. Soon, even more large orders started coming in from other entertainment agencies. The shop, which had been so quiet, suddenly became so busy that there was barely any time to rest. "Hello, this is Simpson Bento. I've brought 10 special bentos for delivery." Even during those hectic days, there was one place I always made sure to visit personally. It was a small entertainment agency located on the second floor of a nondescript building. "Thanks for your hard work. Just leave them over there." This was Lauren's personal agency. The president of the agency was none other than Lauren's mother, Hannah. Whenever I delivered the bentos, she would always say, "Leave them there," without even looking up from her computer. Lauren's face resembled her mother's, but their overall vibe was completely different. Her mother was beautiful but gave off a cold, slightly intimidating impression. "Is there something else?" "No, sorry, I'll be going now." Even the slightest delay in leaving would prompt a sharp remark from her. Just as Lauren had mentioned once, my mother is always strict. But still, thank you very much. I look forward to your next order. No matter what, I'll keep delivering bentos here. It's my way of thanking Lauren, the person who gave me the chance to bring my shop back to life. Then one day, she appeared at the shop again, despite her busy schedule. "Aaron, I have a favor to ask," she said suddenly. "Could you teach me how to cook?" "Wait, cooking? You want me to teach you?" "Yes. You're the only one who can." As she said that, Lauren leaned closer over the counter, her face inches away from mine. Please." With those serious eyes, this stunning woman, who was currently the center of attention everywhere, leaned in close to me. My heart suddenly started racing and didn't calm down for a while. Why did she suddenly want to learn how to cook? Could it be for another role preparation? Considering her dedication to her roles, I immediately agreed to help. After all, I had witnessed firsthand the passion she put into her work during her preparation for the homeless role. If she was going to give another amazing performance. And besides, if it's for someone who had helped me, teaching her how to cook seemed like a small favor. To be honest, you looked like a real homeless person back then. It's incredible how far you have to go for a role. Acting must be tough, I remarked. No, that time was special. My entire life was riding on it, she said with a wry smile. Your life? Yes. Lauren then opened up about the reason she had thrown herself so fully into that role. Over a decade ago, she had been a child actress who drew a lot of attention. Touted as a child prodigy and the talent of a decade, she was showered with praise from adults around her. But my time in the spotlight didn't last long. As soon as another child star came along, people quickly lost interest in me. The jobs dwindled. And by the time I graduated middle school, no one even remembered me. Even the adults who once praised her turned their backs, and she was let go from her agency as if being kicked out. For the next 10 years, she survived by taking nameless bit parts, unable to find any real success as an actress. Then, one day, out of nowhere, an opportunity came knocking. A famous stage director cast me as the lead in his play. It was for that homeless role. Honestly, I was panicking because my work had completely dried up by then, and I thought, this is it. If I could nail this role, I could keep working as an actress. So I was determined to do whatever it took to perfect that character. Even her notoriously strict agent, President Smith had encouraged her, saying, "Do your best." So, Lauren pushed herself to the point of collapsing from hunger. Her efforts paid off, and the play was a massive success. Now, her agency is flooded with offers. I'm so glad to hear that, but wow, the entertainment industry sounds rough. From the outside, it all just looks glamorous. Yeah. At that moment, Lauren's expression softened into something more wistful. Aaron, your cooking is delicious, gentle, and nostalgic. Nostalgic? Actually, I don't want to learn how to cook for a role. Wait, really? Yes. I want to cook for my mother. Lauren looked straight at me as she spoke. Before I started acting, and even just after I began, we didn't have much money. But my mother always found ways to make sure I was full. Cooking delicious meals just for me. Your bentos remind me of my mother's cooking, it tastes similar in a way. She sounds like a wonderful mother. Yes, she was a really wonderful mother. Lauren's face took on a sad expression again as she softly murmured. The reason she had cried while eating the bento was because it brought back memories of that time. Even though they were poor, those days in their single-parent household were filled with happiness. Remembering how different things were now had made her sad. Are you not happy now? No. My mother has changed. Changed? I know she worked so hard for me, sacrificed everything. But the moment I found success as a child actress, and we suddenly had a lot of money, my mother changed. Even if we'd stayed poor, I would have been happy as long as I had my kind mother with me. A tear fell onto Lauren's hand as she spoke. In that moment, I understood. She wanted to learn to cook because she hoped that by sharing a meal, she could bring back the kind, gentle mother she once knew. If they could eat the dishes they used to enjoy together, maybe her mother would remember those times too. Lauren, can you tell me what dishes your mother used to make? Ha! Suddenly, I came up with a plan. When I shared it with Lauren, her eyes widened in surprise. From the next day on, she started coming to the shop whenever she could find time in her busy schedule. However, about a month after I started teaching Lauren how to cook, something unexpected happened. When I went to deliver her bento as usual, President Smith, who rarely looked up, raised her head and stared directly at me. Is there something wrong? We will no longer be ordering bentos from you, Aaron. What? I froze in shock, and she stood up, walking toward me, her sharp gaze fixed on my face. When she reached me, she glared intensely. I know what's been going on. My daughter has been coming to your shop nearly every day for the past month. I don't know what you're doing with her, but I won't allow her to go there again. Wait, please. Lauren. It's a problem. Now that her career is finally taking off, I can't afford to have her embroiled in some scandal. Scandal? You need to cut ties with my daughter immediately. If you need money, I'm willing to pay, though it won't be much. Please, wait. President Smith had completely misunderstood the situation between me and Lauren. I tried to explain that nothing improper was going on between us, but she cut me off before I could get far. Don't act like you didn't want to use my daughter to make connections in the entertainment industry. What? Isn't it great? Your shop is thriving now, thanks to her. You've used her enough, haven't you? Any more involvement will only hurt Lauren's career as an actress. If her future is ruined because of you, I will never forgive you. She saw me as an obstacle to Lauren. She believed I could ruin her career. The weight of those words hit me like a ton of bricks. I understand. But I have one last request. More money? No. Could you try this? What? With a puzzled expression on her face, President Smith watched as I pulled out the top bento from the stack I had brought. This one stood out because its wrapping was a different color from the others. Because it was a special bento. This is the bento I made with Lauren this morning. With Lauren. Yes. It's filled with the dishes that hold memories between you and her. If you eat it, I'm sure you'll understand Lauren's feelings. If possible, please share it with her. Do you really think I'll believe that? Once you look inside, you'll understand. With that, I'll take my leave. I bowed deeply and left President Smith's office, a place I knew I would never come back to. And I prepared myself to never see Lauren again after tomorrow. The next day, after closing the shop. As usual, after finishing her work, Lauren came to the shop. She seemed unusually nervous and cautiously asked me, "You gave my mom the bento, right?" "I couldn't come home yesterday because of filming." "Yes, I delivered it." "Really?" "Yes." Seeing her eyes sparkle with excitement, I just couldn't tell her the truth. President Smith hadn't shown the slightest hint of happiness when she received the bento. After that, we cooked together as usual. As we sat down to eat the finished meal, I finally spoke up. "This will be the last time." "What? You've gotten so good, there's nothing left for me to teach you." And since I've delivered the bento to President Smith, this chapter is complete. But I'm still far from good enough. And one meal isn't going to bring my mom back to how she was. I need to keep. I cut Lauren off, trying to push her away. I walked to the door and opened it wide. "Please leave. And don't come back." "Why, Aaron?" Her voice trembled, and I could see tears welling up in her eyes. "Then, I've fallen in love with you. Is it wrong to want to stay by your side?" Tears streamed down her cheeks, falling onto the floor. She confessed that in the harsh world of show business, being by my side was the only place she felt truly at peace, where she could genuinely laugh. But even with such an unexpected confession, my heart remained unmoved. "Please go." "I can't return your feelings, Lauren." "Aaron." I grabbed her arm and forced her toward the door. She struggled for a moment, her face a mess of tears, but in the end, she stepped outside with me. Once outside, she hung her head, as if she had finally given up. "Is this really the end?" "Yes." "I don't want to see you again, Lauren." "I see." Lauren suddenly looked up with a sad smile. "Then, please don't forget how I feel," she said, suddenly wrapping her arms around me in a tight embrace. "Lauren, it's the last time. Can I at least do this much?" What should I do? Should I just tell her the truth right now? Why wouldn't I be able to see Lauren anymore? And what about my own feelings? Because of that hesitation, I couldn't bring myself to push Lauren away when she hugged me. And that hesitation gave someone else a chance. The chance for a reporter who had been lurking nearby to snap a picture of us. By the time I heard the shutter click, it was too late. A young man with a camera rushed over, grinning, and began bombarding Lauren with questions as she hastily pulled away from me. "We're from Weekly Kando. You're the actress Lauren, right? Is this man your boyfriend?" "No, he's not." "Then why were you two hugging?" "You're an only child, right? Raised by your mother, President Smith, as a single parent?" "Ah. Stop." I quickly stepped in front of Lauren to shield her from the reporter's aggressive questioning. The man just grinned, as if he'd struck gold with his scoop, and kept snapping photos. Stop it. There's nothing going on between us. We're just strangers. Do you think the people who see these pictures will think the same thing? What? The reporter waved his camera in front of me with a smug grin, proudly showing off the photos he'd taken. Then, without giving me a chance to stop him, he ran off, phone in hand, probably contacting his editor. Aaron. I tried to comfort Lauren, who looked worried, saying, "I'm sure everything will be fine." I had no real reason to believe that, but it was the only thing I could say. However, it's my mom. Hello? Lauren. Come to the office immediately. And bring Aaron with you. President Smith's angry voice came blaring through Lauren's phone. It was clear that things were far from fine. A reporter from a magazine contacted me. They said if I want them to drop the story about your relationship, I'll need to pay them $100,000. $100,000. I told you to stay away from Lauren. But you didn't listen. As soon as we arrived at the office, President Smith lashed out at me. This is all your fault. Do you have any idea how hard I've worked to protect Lauren's reputation? What do you have to say for yourself? Or are you going to pay the $100,000 yourself? I'm sorry. Stop it, Mom. This isn't Aaron's fault, it's mine. He was only trying to push me away for my own good, but I couldn't control my feelings. I don't care about your feelings. What matters now is getting that article pulled. Otherwise, it'll ruin your career. Ignoring her daughter's plea, President Smith began dialing someone on her phone, presumably trying to stop the reporter. But I reached out and grabbed her hand. What are you doing? You didn't eat the bento Lauren made for you yesterday, did you? The bento? What are you talking about? Let go. If you had eaten it, you wouldn't be saying that Lauren's feelings don't matter. For a moment, President Smith froze, a look of realization crossing her face. Lauren, looking worried, asked her mother, "You didn't eat the bento, did you? Even you're saying this? Don't you understand the situation? Did you throw it away? Of course not." Shouting in frustration, President Smith stood up from her chair with force. Lauren's expression softened with relief. Seeing this as my chance, I decided to tell President Smith the truth. "Miss Smith, Lauren has only been coming to me to learn how to cook." Cooking? Yes. She wanted to recreate the meals you both shared in the past and enjoy them with you now. Isn't that right, Lauren? Yes. Mom, what happened to the bento? If you didn't throw it away, where is it? President Smith stared intently at Lauren's face, remaining silent for a while. Then, without a word, she suddenly walked toward the corner of the office and retrieved a familiar box from the refrigerator before returning to us. "May I open it?" she asked. Lauren nodded softly. As she carefully unwrapped the paper and opened the lid of the bento box, her expression changed. That's the octopus-shaped fish cake, made with discounted fish cake because we couldn't afford real sausages. And that's the veggie stuffed omelet, full of scraps to stretch the ingredients. And then, Lauren began explaining each dish lovingly. Every dish was a creative, delicious meal her mother had prepared, filled with love, despite their limited finances. For a daughter who loved to eat. Lauren remembered each recipe perfectly, down to the ingredients and the flavors. All I had really taught her was how to use the kitchen tools safely. "Let's eat together, Mom." It's really delicious. I've tasted it, and it's exactly how you used to make it. Lauren, I remember everything. After you divorced Dad and raised me on your own. How you found the money for my expensive acting lessons because I wanted to perform. And how you've been by my side ever since I started as a child actress. I'm so grateful for everything. But I like the old you more, the kind, warm mom. I'd rather share meals with you than keep acting or make more money. Even when we were poor, those days were so much happier for me. That's how I really feel. President Smith stared into the bento, still silent. Finally, she took the chopsticks Lauren handed her and slowly lifted the omelet to her mouth. Oh, see? It's good, isn't it? Lauren smiled as her mother's eyes widened in surprise. President Smith began to eat the rest of the dishes one by one, while Lauren and I quietly watched. I told you to keep auditioning until you landed a role. Did you hate that? No. I wanted to keep trying because I wanted to succeed, even though it was hard, and I cried alone sometimes. I didn't know. Tears began to stream down her face. Even as the tears fell, her chopsticks didn't stop moving. When she had finished the bento, she finally whispered, "It was delicious. I'm sorry. I thought I was doing everything for you, but I never really understood how you felt." Mom. Aaron, thank you for helping me realize my mistake, and I'm sorry for all the terrible things I said to you. Ms. Smith. From me as well. Thank you so much, Aaron. With matching smiles, they both bowed their heads to me in unison. When they looked up, they exchanged a warm, joyful smile, having finally reconciled. Thus, they were able to return to the loving mother-daughter relationship they once had. After that, Lauren used the success of her homeless role as a stepping stone to make a major comeback as an actress. Now, she's everywhere on TV dramas, variety shows, and even commercials. There isn't a day where you don't see her on screen. And as for the scandalous article, it never came out. Whatever strings President Smith pulled, I'll never know. I'm so glad, Lauren. You're shining brighter than ever. I never used to care much for TV, but I make sure to record every program she's in. Making bento boxes until I'm completely exhausted. Then unwinding at night by watching the shows I've recorded. This has become my way of relaxing lately. Lauren, more beautiful and radiant than ever, throws herself into every project with all her might. Watching her gives me a deep sense of happiness. And yet, it always reminds me that we live in completely different worlds. I'm glad. Lauren kept her promise. She hasn't come back to the shop. Lauren and I made a new promise after she reconciled with President Smith. We wanted to avoid any more pictures being taken that could interfere with her career. 3 months have passed, and she hasn't appeared once. And that's how it should be. I'll just keep watching her from a distance, through the TV screen. At least, that's what I thought. Until Lauren suddenly contacted me, asking to meet. This place is exclusive to members, so no tabloid reporters can get in. Lauren said with a smile as we reunited at a bar she'd chosen. She's absolutely stunning. Seeing her all dressed up, I couldn't help but stand there, mesmerized. Since then, I've had many conversations with my mom. We argued a bit, but we made up properly. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. My mom now only lets me do the work I want to. She says, do what you love and go at your own pace. Just don't overwork yourself. And make sure we have one meal together each day. She's even adjusting my schedule for that. I see. It's all thanks to you, Aaron. Really, thank you so much. As she said this, Lauren gently rested her head on my shoulder. The sudden closeness made my heart skip a beat. Lauren, you must be drunk. Maybe, but that's why I forgot. I forgot you turned me down. Lauren, smiling from up close, leaned in even more. And then, I love you, Aaron. Lauren, even if you reject me again, I won't give up. As an actress, determination is everything. Ha ha. I had a feeling she would confess to me over and over again. But only if I were to reject her. Unfortunately for her, I came here today having already made up my mind. I feel the same way. I've missed you so much, Lauren. Aaron. Lauren's face lit up like a spotlight had been cast on her. In that moment, I was overwhelmed with affection. This time, I pulled her into a tight embrace. After that, Lauren held a press conference and publicly announced our relationship. When a reporter asked her why she chose to reveal it, Lauren confidently smiled and replied, "Neither I nor my partner have done anything wrong." There's no reason to keep it a secret, so I decided, with my mom's advice, to go public. I later learned that President Smith had stalled the negotiations with the blackmailing reporter until Lauren's feelings could come to fruition. She had kept saying, "Soon, I'll give you an even bigger story. If it doesn't make waves, I'll pay you $200,000 or whatever it takes." And she wasn't lying. Lauren's bold announcement about our relationship caused a media frenzy for a while. The reporter lost his scoop and didn't get his $100,000, likely feeling quite bitter about it now. As for me, I've been busier than ever. Thanks to Lauren mentioning in the press conference that the man I'm seeing runs a bento shop, my place was quickly identified. At first, curious customers flooded in, but after trying the bento, they became regulars, coming back 2-3 times or more. Now, there's a line outside my shop every day, and Simpson Bento has become a bustling success. Aaron, I'll have one healthy Japanese-style bento. Lauren, welcome. Lauren has also become a regular. With both of us so busy, meeting at the shop has become our substitute for dates. But she says she enjoys it. And I feel the same way. Are you sure you don't want a hamburger bento? I've gained a little weight recently, so I'm trying to cut calories for a while. I don't think you've gained at all. Besides, a little weight might expand your range of roles. True. The real reason is that I love watching her enjoy her favorite foods. But since Lauren smiled, I figured a little white lie wouldn't hurt. By the way, I'm recommending our new healthy tofu hamburger bento. Sounds delicious. I'll take 5. Got it. You're going to end up getting a job as a competitive eater at this rate. Competitive eating, huh? I could do that. Maybe I'll offer myself up for a show. If I do, make sure to cheer me on. Lauren's bright smile made me laugh, and I responded, of course. After all, I'm her boyfriend and her biggest fan. I silently speak to my parents in heaven, telling them that I've managed to protect the shop they left behind. I was able to do it, just as they would have wanted. I was able to do this by letting go of the idea that I had to recreate my father's exact flavors and instead finding a new path forward for the business. The key to overcoming challenges often lies in unexpected places. Through a chance encounter, Lauren and I were able to solve the issues we had both been carrying for so long. But unless you genuinely want to solve a problem, you won't recognize the key when you find it. That's why I'll continue to face many challenges. And with the help of the person I love, I plan to overcome each one, step by step.